Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to wait just one more minute and then I will begin.
There are more people joining.
Right, good morning, everyone. I think we'll just start. Before I start, just a bit of housekeeping. If we can keep our microphones on mute and also turn the cameras off for the duration of the presentation. As I get to the end of the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. So I will open up the floor for questions at the end of the presentation. The session is being recorded and the recording will be shared after the session is finished as well. So firstly, good morning, everyone, and obviously thank you for taking the time to attend and participate in the webinar with us this morning. So the webinar is going to focus on MiX Fleet Manager Fundamentals. This is the second of this series of webinars, and today's focus is driver engagement and how we use telematics and MiX Fleet Manager to assist with driver engagement, supporting drivers, measuring drivers, and ensuring compliance of our drivers in their day-to-day work. My name is Lisa Henshaw. I am head of the client services team based out of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. So I'm just going to go through a few topics that we're going to cover here, and these are all elements within the MiX platform and system that our clients are using on a day-to-day basis to assist them to manage and measure their drivers. So the first thing that we look at is the driver information management. So within MiX Fleet Manager, there is a section where we host a lot of information about our drivers. And this can be a very useful tool for fleet managers, health and safety managers, to ensure a driver all the information is there and they're up to date with all the compliance requirements. We will then move on to talk a little bit about MiX Insight reporting and very, very specifically driver management reporting. So different reports within the system that can be used to assist and to measure a driver's performance. Then lastly, we will touch on a product that we have in use called MyMix. So MyMix is a driver engagement tool where we really try to get the driver's buy-in and involvement with telematics. This is often one of the biggest challenges our clients face, is to how do we engage the driver and really work with them and the data that we get to ensure constant improvement and efficiency as well. So the first topic we're going to talk about is managing the drivers. So within MiX Fleet Manager, we have a section where we host the driver data. So this is under the monitor section within the MiX Fleet Manager platform under drivers. Here we have the capacity to store and manage driver information. As a user of the platform, you will have the ability to go in, edit and modify the driver's information there. This ability is very much specific to the user and obviously will align to the user's roles within the business. One thing to note as well, it is possible to do a bulk upload of driver information into the system. So when we start with new clients or new projects, this process can really help to assist and reduce the time in getting all the information into the system. So this is what it looks like. So each of our drivers within MiX Fleet Manager have a profile within the software platform. This profile is, for the most part, associated to the driver's blue key, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. That is the piece of hardware that is given to the driver to identify himself when he enters and drives the vehicle with the MiX telematics system installed. We can see here various elements and information we store about the driver. We do have the option to have customized fields in this area here, whereby we can enable our clients to add very business specific information, employee numbers, maybe departments, cost codes, things like that. Another part of the driver section is an element of access control. So through the system, we have the ability to limit the driver's vehicle access. So this is generally managed with our clients and the MiX telematics support team. But what it does, it gives us the ability to control drivers and what is happening on the vehicles as well. And I think, you know, obviously we don't want somebody without the relevant training or skills to be driving a forklift, for example, or a heavy vehicle. So this is an area of the system which some of our clients use and find very, very useful to manage the fleet and the drivers. The last thing that I'm going to focus on here is the licensing and certification section. So I would say 90% of our clients have a level of driver training requirement for their drivers. Now, the frequency of this and the detail of this does vary across our clients. But what the MiX Fleet Manager platform does is it enables us to store and manage that information. So by putting in details of licenses, license expiries, training dates, certifications, we also manage when those expire or the frequency with which they need to be repeated. And email alerts can be sent to fleet managers to ensure that we're on top of the certifications and licensing requirements, and this can be very much project specific or company specific as well. So receiving those emails really gives the training managers, fleet managers, an indication of who needs to be scheduled for their next training session, and in many cases where licenses need to be renewed. Now, some of this would be just an automatic renewal. In some instances, that will be involve some level of test as well. So it's a really good section that our clients use for compliance, whether that's project, company, or even government regulations compliance. So we have our drivers stored in the system, and our clients want to understand what our drivers are doing. So day to day, second by second, we're recording a lot of information through the equipment within the vehicle on our drivers, on what our drivers are doing, our drivers' behavior, and our drivers' actions. Now, the fundamental and most important part of the system is how we visualize that information, how we take that information to action, real change and benefits into our business. And for the most part, this is done through the MiX Insight reporting suite. So within the reports, within the reporting suite, there are over 50 different types of reports. Some of them are driver-centric, vehicle-centric, utilization, scoring, location-specific. So what we're going to look at now is a few specific driver scoring reports. So all of our clients will have different measures, different focus areas, different business challenges across their drivers. And the MiX telematics system is there to offer a standard, but also offer the means to be flexible and to offer a scoring method which is most suitable to a client-specific challenges and operations. We must also ensure, as we evolve with telematics and improve, that we adapt our scoring methods over time. So initially we maybe look at a more basic scoring module, and as our drivers improve and we look to target different areas, that will evolve and change and develop to ensure that we are constantly moving and improving in our land transport management. So the first one that I'm going to touch on is the RAG scoring method. So the RAG scoring method is very, very simple, standard, and one of the more basic scoring methods that we used across our clients. It is very, very effective. It's very simple, straightforward. Drivers understand it. Fleet managers understand it, users understand it. So the RAG report is the red, amber, green report, and naturally, as you would imagine, green is the best score. So the aim of the game is to get all our drivers into a green driving band through coaching, understanding, education, all these different things that we need to do with the information we have from the system. So a driver's RAG score is based on the occurrences of harsh acceleration and harsh braking over distance, and an overspeeding calculation relative to time, so the time spent overspeeding. So here we have an example of a RAG summary report. So we have the RAG in many different formats. You can see on a daily, weekly, here we have a monthly, we can see an overview over a period of time. So the report here you can see is quite visually easy to read. We see that there's the driver, the period of time, and we see the incorporation of harsh acceleration, harsh braking, and overspeeding to calculate a score for the driver. So on this report here, we see the majority of the drivers are in the green banding, which is excellent. And we see maybe a couple of drivers there where they may need some attention and coaching and you know, support to move them in and understand the driving behaviors and how we can improve them. So this report resides in the MiX Insight reporting suite under RAG reports and is the RAG summary report. So the next report I'm going to move on to is almost the next step. So we get the RAG, good. We get our drivers into green, and that's where we want to be. So the next one we're going to take a quick look into is the RAG Plus scoring method. So you know, the name says it all. It's the RAG score plus a little bit more. So within the RAG Plus scoring method, we also incorporate seatbelt usage and customized overspeeding events. So these two parameters very much depend on how the database is set up, what is recorded in the vehicle, and you know, that would generally align to a client's requirement. By adding these elements, we add in the next level. So we've got the basics right, and how do we then start to focus and incorporate these? So this is a report that's available in the custom report section. If this is not immediately available to you, please do contact the support team or your customer success manager, and they'll be able to make this report available for you. So we just have a quick look at this. As you can see, a very, very similar format to the RAG report. However, we see in the middle, we have a section focusing on seatbelt violation, and the overspeeding information on here does also incorporate specific location-based speeding. So many of our clients would have a you know, high-risk areas or urban areas where we need to focus and ensure that speed limits are adhered to. So we can incorporate that information into this scoring. So it gives us a more detailed analysis of how a driver is performing. We can see here, very, very self-explanatory. Driver number one is probably the driver who needs some coaching, and the problem that we've identified with this driver, as you can see, is the time he is driving without using his seatbelt. So, you know, this offers an easy visual for a fleet manager to go have a word with the driver and say, you know, please understand, you know, using your seatbelt at all times is very important. The second one down, we can see the, you know, the weak spot, I guess, in their driving is the harsh braking. So then we start to talk to them about, you know, stopping distances and, you know, understanding the challenges they're facing. This report, again, it calculates over distance and also time. So this gives us the ability to measure the driver who drives 10,000 kilometers a month to the driver who drives 500 kilometers a month in a very, very similar way. So the next one that I'm going to look at is, you know, quite honestly, it's a scoring method that we don't see used as much as maybe we could do, and it's the standard scoring method. So this offers our clients a level of flexibility in terms of what we are monitoring them on, and it also enables us to incorporate other elements. For example, I think in this instance here, we've got freewheeling or how much time the vehicle's idling. So yes, this is safety, but then we also kind of go into the realms of efficiencies as well. So we're making our drivers safer and more efficient as well. So this report offers different visuals of how our fleet's performing. And again, the support team or your customer success manager will be able to talk to you and guide you through how we can set this up. You know, how do we give a certain scoring to certain violations? So overspeeding is considered a far severe violation than idling, for example. And we can use the report to adapt something very, very suitable to your business and your business needs. So we'll take a look at the report. So this is the first visual. We see the top and the bottom based on the scoring method that we've put in place. So we can see here how it's set up. As I said, we very much encourage you to reach out to MiX Telematics if you want to go into more details. But it gives you a very quick high-level visual of what's going on with the drivers. So the next part of this report is giving us an overview of what's going on in terms of the specific violations. So where are our problem areas? And we can see very, very clearly from this diagram that the excessive idling in this instance is perhaps what's causing the most problems across this fleet. And then that information is taken to within the business and understanding the operations, we then can act upon this. So maybe excessive idling is absolutely fine, and that's okay. But what we need to do is deliver that information into your business for you to analyze it in the context of your business and make changes and improvements accordingly. We can see here the last visual where we've incorporated idling, green band driving, over revving, harsh acceleration, and all these different areas are given a different scoring bracket to come out with an overall score. There is also a comparison here with the very basic reg scoring, which some of our clients find very, very useful. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is very much what's coming to MiX Telematics across the next few months. We expect this to be in full release before the end of this year. So as we've grown and developed over time, we understand that our clients' needs and requirements have done exactly the same. And what was fundamental to them maybe 5 or 7 or 10 years ago has now evolved, and we need to have a scoring method within the system to work with this. So our team in South Africa have developed the next generation flexible scoring. So this is an agile module which will enable you to effectively customize a scoring method suitable for your business. So you will be able to incorporate standard events. You'll be able to incorporate efficiency events, whether it be idling or freewheeling, things like that, fatigue events. And you will have the ability to give a weighting to each of these events, which aligns to the importance within your business at a certain point in time. So this is, I guess, a great step forward for MiX, and we really, really look forward to being able to use this and demonstrate this in greater detail to you towards the end of the year. So that's just a high-level insight into how drivers are scored. Now, every business is different, all the needs are different, and so we very much encourage dialogue and conversation with the team at MiX so we can ensure that we're meeting your needs and your specific goals as a business. So the last thing that I'm going to focus on here as part of this webinar is MyMix. So we have the system and we have a lot of information that goes into MiX Fleet Manager. We have the user interface. And then we have the driver who, for the most part, probably doesn't see an awful lot. He doesn't use the system on a day-to-day basis. In some instance, he may just receive a report which tells him he's got 3 in his reg score. And, the level of understanding amongst the drivers is fundamental to improvement. And we've seen this time and time again. So the more engaged we get the drivers of a fleet, the more we will see improvement in driving performance and business efficiency as well. So what is MyMix? So MyMix is a driver-focused mobile platform which is designed to assist the driver and educate the driver. MyMix focuses on delivering the driver's performance to the driver, not to the manager, to the driver, so they understand day to day, week to week, how they're tracking, how they're performing, and how they're performing in the context of their business and their peers as well. So the MyMix application is both iOS and Android compatible. We also have a web version as well. So the platform can be viewed within web if you know the driver doesn't have a smartphone at their disposition. So as I said, the application is there to deliver information to the driver, periodic information and usable information, so they understand how they're performing, where the weaknesses are, and you know can use this information to improve. So there's just a few screenshots here of the MyMix mobile application. You can see it's quite visual, so it's very easy to understand and relate to the information there. So we have the dashboard, which basically compares your driver to their peers, to who's doing the same job in the same area, and you know how are they tracking against their peers. Now this has, you know, we've seen in many businesses, this is great you know, motivation and encouragement within a company to get the drivers wanting to you know, be the best ultimately. And you know, we've seen in many companies is very successful, whereby we reward the driver of the month, and you know, whether it's financial or a gift or something like that. And we've seen this to be very effective. By having this visibility, the driver knows where they're standing and what they're doing. The next one we look at is the weekly and daily visual, so they can see what violations they've triggered on a specific day, and how they're tracking for the week. Again, next one, very self-explanatory, is a trend. So how are they tracking on a weekly basis? How are they tracking on a monthly basis? So obviously we want that trend to be going in the right direction, and you know, a driver to see that it's going in the right direction. And obviously as human beings, we all like to see ourselves improve. So this gives the driver a very good insight of how he's doing. The last one is the leaderboard, which again, for I guess various incentive programs, things like that within the business is good for motivation. Here you can see a view of what it looks like within the MiX Fleet Manager web interface, very similar. Again, shows the driver what he's doing, how his performance is going, and you know, maybe where the risk areas are for a specific driver. So this, as it says there, is available in the driver section within the platform as well. So I think that's it from me. Obviously, there's a lot of information, and managing drivers in our business is a constant challenge, and something that, you know, is constantly changing. Are there any questions?
Is MyMix is specific only to the drivers, or anyone can use it?
So the MyMix application is usable for the drivers as well, and MiX are currently working on an interface for the fleet managers as well. So the managers can use the system to see, I guess, how their group of drivers are doing as well. So really encourage you to reach out to your customer success manager. They'll be able to give you more information on timeframes and you know, how we'd be able to help you to incorporate that into your business. So it's going to be twofold. We've got the driver application, but also something that's suitable for fleet managers or people that are out on site that are, you know, maybe not sat behind their computer as well.
Thank you. Presently, I'm using MiX Mobile. In my mobile, I'm checking the MiX Mobile app. Is it the same with MyMix, or it is different?
Yes, so all the applications will be within the same platform ultimately, and then MyMix will be a part of that. So again, I do encourage you to reach out to your customer success manager. They'll be able to have a look at the settings and configurations to ensure that you have the relevant access.
Ma'am, in the track reports that you just displayed on the seatbelt scores, is this just concerning the driver not wearing the seatbelt, or it's all the passengers?
So this, the scoring is very, very specific to the driver and the driver wearing the seatbelt. That said, depending on how the vehicle is installed and the information we can get from the vehicle's systems, we may be able to record the passenger information as well. And this is where we maybe start to look at how the flexible scoring can incorporate that, or maybe we just use more the detailed event reports within the system. So it's tricky. I must say it's very tricky to get that information. Some vehicles we're simply not able to access that information, connect to that information. That said, it has been something we've seen to be more and more prevalent with newer vehicles, newer models as well. So again, it's something very, very specific to your fleet and your vehicles, but it's definitely something we would encourage you to reach out and we can have a look at.
Thank you very much, madam. One other area that we are struggling with MiX telematics system is that the fuel efficiency or fuel management. The report, you know, although we record the fuel receipt in the system, it doesn't display the fuel consumption per month or per week as we wanted. So we would have liked it. Yeah.
Okay. So you're uploading your fuel spend within the MiX Fleet Manager platform itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably what I think you need to do is to reach out to somebody within MiX. So reach out to your point of contact in MiX, because we need to just verify that those inputs are being done in the correct format. And if they are, we should be able to give you this information. So I think it's a case of working very closely with the MiX team. We'll understand how the inputs are being done and just double check, but it should be more than possible. So if you're not receiving that, then please reach out and ask for help, and we'll get that up and running for you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I have one question. You mentioned about the overspeeding. So this overspeeding is as per the road speed, or is there any constant speed that's been set?
Yeah. So when we install our equipment within the vehicle, we configure certain information onto the equipment. Now, as a general rule, most of our clients would have a top speed. You know, a vehicle should never go over, 120 kilometers an hour, 80 kilometers an hour. And that's a measure that we put on the system. And that is the measure that is incorporated into the RAG report, the very, very basic report. So additional to this, we have local level speeding, whereby our clients may say, okay, for the city of Dubai, I don't want anybody driving over 80 kilometers an hour. And we ring fence that within the system, and we have event data alongside that as well. So this is, in many instances, may not be the road speed. It may be that a business has actually determined that the driver should be driving less than the allowed speed. The next level of that is road speed. So depending on the operational locations, we have the ability to measure against the road speed. So the road speed and how we calculate that is something that is very, very dependent on the map set. So obviously we rely on the map set to tell us what the speed of a specific road is. So using road speed is done very, very widely across our business. But as clients look to embark on this, we would always encourage them to reach out to us, just so we can have a look at the map set and just check that it's it's good and it's accurate. As I said, most urban areas, most I guess relatively developed business areas will have a good map set, and we'll be able to record the road speed very, very accurately. Obviously, sometimes operations are on private roads and things like that, where the speed limit might not be available to the system and to the team as well. So it's very specific to country and to configuration, but road speed is possible. specific location speed as possible, and then we always have a top level buffer across all the fleets, whereby the business says, okay, nobody drives ever over 100 kilometers an hour, for example, not reported to the system.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, is there any more questions? I think the silence says probably not. Look, I would always encourage you to reach out to the MiX team if you have any questions. You know, we are here to help and support and ensure that the system is meeting your needs as a business. We are busily working on the information for our next session, and you will see mailers go out very, very soon to give you updates on when that will be and what the presentation will be. My colleague will share the recording from today, so you will have all this information to review and go through again. So thank you again. Thanks for taking the time to join us. I really hope it was useful to you, and I wish you all a very pleasant day.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.